Good morning. I'm Gianni the Greek, coming to you live straight from Las Vegas. It's Friday, January 10th. Wow, already at the 10th. Like Dana put out, quick day. Not for us, baby. Anyone that started those New Year's resolutions, got to stick to them. Before you know it, they become habit. Believe me. Now, we got a lot to get to, but before I do, I really want to take a second to thank those of you that watched the first YouTube we put out for 2025. I went through and looked at every single comment. I cannot say thank you enough. Can't appreciate you enough. Please, please, please continue to engage. I don't even need the pats on the back. I appreciate the love more than you can ever imagine. But I love also what you want to talk about or even challenge some of the things, because you shouldn't agree with everything I say, because a lot of times I'm going to separate between opinion and fact. And many times my opinion will be wrong. And I love seeing other perspectives. Nothing better than changing your mind when you're wrong. So again, I check my ego at the door. I credit a lot of that success that I've had to that. Now, with that said, 2025, getting off exactly how I expected. Low volume, higher ROI. So far, we've delivered. Again, not going to toot my own horn. It's only 10 days into 2025, but I already like what I'm seeing, and I'm sure my subscribers do too. After the last losing year, it came back and had my most profitable. So if you're ever going to jump on board, 2025 is the year. Head on over to WagerTalk.com or hit up Johnny Detroit. He will set you up so you can roll with me long term. With that said, let's get the money management out of the way, because I love the comments on money management. Listen, most people like free picks. Recreational bettors, they want to know free picks. But unless you're able to profit with those free picks, they're useless. Meaning, even if more win than lose, if you don't bet size correctly, it's meaningless. So we have to focus in on our bet sizing. That's going to determine our success or failure. After being a plus EV better, you got to get there first, where you know you're a winning better, where you've been profitable over your last 1,000, 2,000 bets, which now makes you the favorite to be, again, profitable over your next 1,000 bets. That's what the betting syndicates are looking for when they pick up new sources of information, new plus EV guys. They want to know the last 1,000, 2,000 bets, because they know that now makes you a favorite moving forward. To profit off it, though, you need to manage risk correctly. Now, remember, the MIT card counting group, okay, which came into Vegas, lit up the casinos in blackjack, and took them for a couple $1 million. In fact, they made movies about them, wrote books about them. When the dust settled, they had about a 1.5%, 2% edge over the book. Some of them claim they had a 2.5% edge, maybe at times, maybe even higher than that. But I think over the long stretch of playing, it was about a 2% edge. And they made books and movies about the 2% edge. So it goes to show you how difficult it is to get an edge over the hold, because we're betting into a market that already has a hold. We pay an admission for every bet we place. When we bet the point spread, we got to lay 11 to win 10. So we're paying that commission, that admission price already, which means we have to be very selective, because we have to overcome that hold, which is 4.5%. So when we 11 to win 10, that's a 4.5% hold on the books. So for us to have a 2% edge, 3% edge over the books, that means we have to actually have a 8.5%, 9% edge on that game, because we got to overcome that 4.5% hold. That's very, very, very difficult to do. We've done it. We're currently doing it, and we're going to continue doing it. But the profit off it, we have to bet size correctly. I had that same plus EV information for a very long time. It wasn't until the last 15 years that I actually been able to profit and change my life with it, because I finally learned how to bet size correctly with patience. Don't want to go real long, but nothing's more important than this. I know we got a lot to cover, but remember, you got to bet between 0.25 and 1.25% of bankroll max. I would recommend that most, if not all, recreational bettors start off with 0.50 on their regular bets, and then 0.75 to 1% on their best bets. And those best bets need to be rare, meaning for every 7 regular bets, 7, 8 regular bets, you may have 1 or 2 best bets. Otherwise, you're going 0.50 of your bankroll. You establish that early. You got a $1,000 bankroll. You know what that means? It means you're betting $5. $5 per play. I know not very many people out there with a $1,000 bankroll betting $5 per bet, but that's why the risk of ruin is upwards of 70, 80, 90%. And we see it over and over and over again. It's no secret. 99.5% of all sports bettors have negative lifetime earnings. A little greater, 99.5% of all current sports betting accounts are negative lifetime earnings. So it shows you just how difficult it is to turn a profit. And many of those are sharp bettors. They just overbet their edge. And if you do that, you just can't profit. So what do we do to minimize that damage? We already set ourselves up for success. Recreational bettors, until you master that discipline, then you step up to 1x to 5x like I do. 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, spreading out a little on the strength. Until then, keep it simple. 0.50 for a regular bet, 1% for a best bet. You're never betting more than that. So if you got a $1,000 bankroll, you're never betting more than $10. Nobody's going to lose sleep over that. You're never going to have stress. You're never going to chase. You're never going to wonder, what should I do? How much should I bet? You've already established that. And you will adjust that when you've increased or decreased your bankroll by 50% if you can't replenish it. So what I'm looking for is you start with that $1,000. When it gets to $1,500, guess what? We now adjust. Now our 1% best bet is $15. Brother, that's how you go from what I started with when I finally put together a 40 dime bankroll to a 400 dime bankroll. That's the way to do it. I tried every other way, looking for that big score. Oh, I'll narrow it down to one best bet a week. All that stuff is nonsense. What it comes down to is having access or the ability to find value or plus EV spots and then the bet size correctly. I know I went long on this. I went about 7 minutes, but nothing is more important than that. So with the next 7, 10, 12 minutes, let's dive into the action. And please go down, smash that like button, comment, engage, share it. I want to continue doing these entire 2025. So we need a blueprint, a game plan for us to get there. Now, I don't have nothing today really that we steamed. A couple of round 2 golf matchups that I gave out on WagerTalk today. Make sure you check that out, because with the lower volume, a lot of the information I'm passing along over the last decade were 2 or 3% premium plays. So this is a lot of the information bettors were paying for. I'm now releasing for free because I'm only releasing the very, very, very strongest subscribers. So far, so good. So we bet, the group I work with bet UCLA plus 4.5 or plus 5 this morning in college basketball. I didn't love it, so I didn't release for subscribers. So let's get into college football, NFL, and then MMA. All right, college football tonight, no secret. I have a future on Ohio State. If you want to win yourself, what am I giving, $500 or $1,000? Head on over to Instagram, head on over to TikTok, look for Greek_Gambler, Greek_Gambler7 on TikTok. All you have to do is like it, and I think retweet it or some shit like that. And we're going to pick out a drawer and give somebody a little free money. And yeah, we're going to take doing that so you know it's legit. This is my girl handling all the social media stuff. These are campaigns she wants to do throughout 2025. So I said, have at it. But I just want to make sure the guys that give me the support have a shot at winning that free money. I'd love to do nothing more than send you $500 or $1,000. So head on over to Instagram, Greek Gambler, Greek_Gambler. Head on over to TikTok, Greek_Gambler7. And you'll see those future bets. Ohio State's still alive, and the Baltimore Ravens are still alive. Penn State, they cost us yesterday. But if you jumped on that Penn State, Ohio State teaser that I was talking about all week on WagerTalk today, first time I ever see the wise guys in years bet a teaser in college football. They did so. The tail end is on tonight, Ohio State. Now, speaking of that game, I went ahead and took Texas. I'm waiting. I'll tell you the truth. I got some down at +6, and I'm going to get some more down at +7. This, to me, isn't really a hedge. I'm hoping to middle it. But the truth is, I think there's a lot of value there because of the recency bias attached to this game. I mean, Ohio State has just looked phenomenal over their last 2 games. 41-21 against Oregon, and that was a point flip game. 42-17 against Tennessee. They were only touchdown favorites. On the flip side of that, you look at Texas, 13.5-point favorites, didn't get the cover against ASU, where they look awful, more or less, for a Texas team. And because of that, this price is just a little bit too high. My power ratings do make Ohio State the best team in the country. In fact, I have them, I'll tell you now, so when they play Notre Dame, you know what the line should be. I got Ohio State about 3.5 points better than Notre Dame. Now, the book's job isn't to predict the number, the outcome. The book's job is to manage risk. So based on how Ohio State looks, like if they go out there and blow out Texas tonight and Notre Dame needed that interception at the end just to get the win, obviously the line will come out higher than Ohio State 3.5. But if Ohio State really struggles, it could come out even a little lower. But that's the true power rating heading into tonight's action. Ohio State against Notre Dame would be about 3.5-point favorite. And against Penn State, they would have been about a 4-point favorite. Now, you know I like the Texas side with the points, but deep down, I need the Buckeyes. I will be cheering in the Buckeyes. All right. Now, let's move over real quickly to the NFL. Some of the sharper action in there that I've seen. Remember, I move for a couple groups, and then there's other traders I knew that were runners here as long as I've been here. They move for other wise guys and betting syndicates around the world, and we share information. The one guy I really respect, he gave me the big double-digit dogs. His group took Pittsburgh at +10. They took Denver at +9.5. Some bought it up to 10, and they went under in the Chargers Houston game. Now, game by game, I'm going to go through it really quick for you guys because I love you. Don't forget, I got a future on the Baltimore Ravens at about +688, almost 7-1. And 5-1 or better, you got to bet them. You have to bet them. Rarely at the end of the year is an NFL team that higher power rated than the rest of the field. In fact, this year, I have the Baltimore Ravens 2.5 points better, close to 3 points better than everyone else on a neutral field. That's on paper. Now, unlike baseball, basketball, where the cream usually rises to the top because we have 7-game series, there's a lot of randomness in football because they play one game. So the top power rated team isn't always going to win the championship in the NFL. But when you have that big a discrepancy between number 1 and number 2, you got to take it. Number 2, I actually have Detroit. Most, I think, do have Detroit. What I like most about the Baltimore side winning the Super Bowl is this. We know the one trend that's extremely strong in the Super Bowl winners is QBR. You got a top 5 QBR guy. Well, we have the number 1 QBR guy in Lamar Jackson. Then passing success rate. We got a top 5 guy there too in Lamar Jackson. So I like how some of the trends line up for Baltimore. I like this Ravens team. Now, game by game, let's talk Chargers, Houston. Disruption of practice for Chargers. That's the thing everybody's talking about, you know, and this is being their third straight road game. I actually think Houston matches up pretty well against them. They're solid against the run. Their secondary matches up well against that passing game. And what sticks out to me the most, as I touched on in WagerTalk today, not long ago, Houston closed as 3.5-point dogs at Kansas City. So they're getting 3.5 at Kansas City. Arguably the best team in the AFC, right? Them or Buffalo and Baltimore, those 3 right there. And yet they're now getting 3 at home against the Chargers. Usually my antennas would be flying. I'd be like, oh, Chargers must be a lock, right? The market's not going to be that off. Well, a lot of recency bias involved in that price. So it'd be interesting to see how that turns out. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, as I told you, these two teams know each other extremely well. You know, Pittsburgh's offense sputtering down the stretch. That's the question. That's why we're looking at a double-digit number when usually you look at the series between these two over the last 10 times they met. I think twice has the line been above a touchdown. Usually it's competitive, field goal or so, depending on who's home. But, you know, the Baltimore's as well balanced as they come. I can tell you, though, there is some sharp money on the Pittsburgh side. Denver, Buffalo. Some Denver money has come in. I know Prez said he likes the Buffalo side in the first half. I think we're going to see points here. I mean, You got a rookie quarterback on the road in Denver. That always scares me. But I do think they're going to be able to put up some points against this overrated defense of the Buffalo Bills. And I don't think Buffalo is going to have any problems at all scoring against the Denver Broncos as well. So I was a little surprised at that total. Okay, it's up to 47.5. Okay, I thought we'd be seeing 48s, maybe even higher than that. Because remember, it opened 47.5, dropped down to 46. Then it started moving back up in the Denver-Buffalo game. Now, Green Bay and Philadelphia, the question is it Love or is it Willis? Is it Love or is it Willis? Well, based on this betting line, it's going to be Love. And based on this betting line, Hurts, though limited in practice, has passed the concussion protocol. So we're looking at about a 5 on the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's about a dead number. So again, from the opener of 3.5, which didn't last long, got to 4.5. It's not much of a change. It'll be interesting to see if this Eagles money or Eagles teasers even push this up to that number of 6, where I think you will definitely see some resistance. Washington and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Interesting here. 2 difference of opinions. We all saw the 2.5 opener on Tampa Bay. They got steamed up to 3 juice. Books that went 3.5 saw that taken off the board. That's why it's back to 3 on Tampa Bay, even 3 minus 105, because one very respected group came in and took the plus 3.5 on the Washington side. Now, we know with Jaden Daniels, how well he's done against the blitz. That's all the talk. I listened to Adam Chernoff talk about them. Big fan of him and Raz and what they do. And he talked about how he's number 2 against the blitz. And, that's what Tampa wants to do. So it's going to be interesting. Another rookie quarterback on the road. I like Tampa, man. It sounds square. I lean Tampa in that game. Minnesota and the Rams, obviously, the change, venue. It's a game we've got time to talk about. See how that all unfolds there. Will it be moved to Arizona? And, on a neutral, obviously Minnesota is going to be the favorite if this is on a neutral. Probably close to a field goal favorite, I would think, right? If this one does get played in Arizona. Now, what else can I share with you guys? It's been a crazy year last year, right? All the favorites in MMA, preseason favorites in all the futures. Don't forget also, we're in the playoffs in the NFL, which means pick the winner, and you're probably going to cash a ticket. In fact, it's the wild card round and the conference finals where that trend is greatest. I don't know if you jumped on that Devin energy that I gave out on WagerTalk today. That was one of my biggest trades. Well, it's biggest of 2025. It's 10 days in, but probably the biggest trade I've made in the last 6 months, where I put 5 figures on Devin Energy at a little under $31. I wanted to make 20% on it, and I'm out at 37. I had a sell order. It hit 37 today. We're out of that trade. Hopefully, you had some success as well. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial planner. I highly recommend you go speak to a seasoned professional. I'm just telling you what I've done. And in fact, I made 2 trades today as well. I got some TLT, some of that treasury, the long-term treasury. What else did I get in on? Oh, I got in on Baidu, B-I-D-U. I got in on B-I-D-U. Anything around $77, $95, $78. Yeah, I think you're doing good there. But again, we're here to talk sports. So let's talk some MMA real quickly. Coming off my arguably most impressive year, crushing all those shows for the UFC. But I love what I did for the subscribers. Picked up about 100 units. Number 1 in profit. Number 1 in all that ROI stuff, all that. We crushed it. I've had since I've been in WagerTalk, 2017, 1 losing year in MMA. 1 losing year. So take that as you will. And if I were you, I'd jump on board with me. So let me go over this MMA. Obviously, I've released a handful of plays already to my subscribers. So out of fairness, I can't give you the premium plays, but here's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to go through the card as quickly as possible and give you an opinion pretty much on every fight. And you guys can take it from there. You ready? Start off at the bottom. Where are we? All right. Aliev and Selecki. Aliev's priced way too high against the experienced Selecki, but that's not a dog I've touched. Fatima Klein over Dudikova. I've seen a lot of recreational bettors saying Dudikova is the side. She's a live dog. No, Fatima Klein goes right through her. Should be about a minus 1,500 favorite, not a minus 1,000 favorite that she has been bet up to. Lopez and Gadis Yasulov, another overpriced favorite, and not surprising. UFC is coming off a year where the favorites won over 70%. That's an outlier year. They should be around that 65% mark. So the books are forcing you to pay a premium as we return for any of these favorites. No surprise. Cagliari and Ernesta Caracante here. This one I'm going to give out because I gave it out on UFC on the line. I gave it out on the Gambler's Perspective. I started betting her at minus 200. I'm still comfortable betting her at minus 260. I'll be comfortable betting her up to minus 300, but she should be a minus 400 favorite where she wins this fight 4 out of 5 times. So even at minus, 300, we got a 5% edge in implied win probability. Smith and Parsons, that's a pass. Moises and Ogden, we have difference of opinion here. I know a lot of sharps that saw Ogden as being live. He's going to have a height advantage, reach advantage, strike differential edge. He attempts 3.7 takedowns per 5 minutes against a 55% takedown defense in Thiago Moises. But what I can tell you is there has been sharp money, respected guys that I work with that did come in and bet the Moises side. Tulio Poteria, not much to share there. Johnson Buenas. Johnson, too big of a favorite, man. He's going to have that nice reach advantage here. But give me Buenas all day at that plus money. Medic and Soriano. Medic should get this win, but I like the over more than that. Quick finisher. I don't think any of his fights have even gone to a decision, but I think we get into that 7.5 minute mark in cash with that over. Rodriguez Bashi. How could C-Rod be this big of a dog? You're paying for potential over credentials, and Bashi may be the next biggest thing. And obviously from the betting line against someone like C-Rod, who's got proven it over and over again, as a favorite 2-1, as a dog 2-1, consistently being overlooked since the Contender Series win. But you got to respect that Bashi money that just keeps coming in. So I'm interested to watch that fight more than I am betting it. Kopylov and Curtis, another disrespect on the Curtis side. Recency bias for Kopylov. He's low hot. I think he's won 5 of 6. 4 or 5 of those have been with performance bonuses, highlight reel knockouts, and all that. You're going to pay premium. And even though they're around the same age, it seems like a difference in trajectories of career. Curtis is towards the end. Kopylov seems to be hitting his stride right now. Kopylov should win this fight. Absolutely no value at all. Almeida, Razak Al Hassan, no real opinion there. Harris Ponzinibbio. Harris was the favorite. Anyone that got Pons as a dog, great bet. Slight favorite, I guess you got to go Pons or pass. I kind of like the under more. I'm seeing some over money. I disagree. I would not be surprised to see the steam come in the other way there. I like Harris Ponzinibbio under 37.5, 38.5 years old. A little recency bias on the Pons side, where I think he's gone to like 3 decisions in his last 4 fights, something along those lines. So there's some recency bias there, but at welterweight, 50+% of the time, it's a coin flip whether it goes to a decision or a finish. And I think with these two, we're looking at the finish. Then Dern, Hebas, you already know how I feel. I got to respect the sharps that told me Dern's a live dog. I like Hebas. The difference is the price. Got to remember, Hebas closed a plus 155 dog last time around. Now she's close to a minus 200 favorite. So the implied win probability has increased by almost 30%. Is that warranted based on the results since that fight? No, because they're both 3-3 over the last 6. I think one's 6-4, the other 7-4. So very similar, even though Hebas has had the more difficult strength of the schedule. And obviously she beat her the first time around. And the winner of the first tends to win the second more times than not. So that's some of the information I got going into the weekend. I hope you guys do some damage. Follow fate or ignore. Don't forget, we know there's football on Sunday, but don't forget that there's also church on Sunday. And I pray for you and yours. God bless you all. Have a great day. Do some damage. And above all else, smash that like button. Love you guys.